What's good, y'all? I'm Vincent Powell, and welcome to my channel. Usually I'm here with some kind of inspiration or insight or encouragement for creatives, their allies, and their adjacents. I'll still be doing that, but periodically I want to throw back to my undergrad days 15 years ago. 15 years ago. Wow. When I used to share my thoughts on movies hitting theaters. So it's time for a new movie review series on this channel where we dive deep into the world of movies and share insights that make you love films even more. I'm super excited to explore the latest releases, timeless classics, and hidden gems with you. For those of you who are new here, I'm Vincent Powell. I'm a film director, writer, and a producer, and a college professor in Houston, Texas. And I've got over 2 decades of experience in this industry. And my goal is to help you see films through a new lens that adds intellectualism with inspiration and uncovers the nuances in artistry that makes cinema so powerful. Today, we're diving into A Quiet Place, Day 1, directed by Michael Sarnoski and starring the beautiful Lupita Nyong'o. Buckle up because this is going to be a good one. It's going to be fun, engaging, educational, and spoiler alert. Just a couple of pieces that I'll touch on that happened in the movie that may not be in a trailer that you've seen, but whatever. The story of A Quiet Place, right? It's a familiar premise. Aliens come from space, they eat whatever they hear, they're completely blind, they rely solely on sound to hunt their prey, and this premise sets the stage for this gripping, tension-filled narrative that is a prequel to everything you've seen heretofore. The sound design is absolutely magnetic. It pulls you into this world where even the smallest sound can mean life or death, and we give credit for that to the sound designer for this film, Kate Bilinski. Critics have been raving about this film and how it uses sound as a core storytelling tool, and there is no doubt that if you watch this film on mute, it does not make complete sense because it's called A Quiet Place. What Kate is able to do is really harness sound to make sudden loud noises like the alien attacks. They become jarring and terrifying because we're sitting in silence. And the film opens up with this thought that New York City operates at 90 decibels, which is a constant screaming volume. So all of a sudden we go from this loud volume to moments later when these aliens have attacked to silence and society learning how to move through this tension and this new reality. And it immerses the audience in this reality that the smallest sound could be monumental and terrifying. During my showing, it had gotten so real that my wife, she took her straw and she moved it, and it made such a loud noise. I almost threw the cup, and if it wasn't $8, I almost threw the cup somewhere because I was like, the aliens can come and get us. And that's how powerful sound design is when it translates beyond the screen into the very breath you're breathing as you sit on the couch to watch. Next, let's talk about Scola and what they did with the cinematography. And Scola's use of lighting and camera angles really enhances the dread and the suspense. It's being able to use the camera and the lighting to not just motivate light to light the scene, but to use the lighting of the scene to let the audience know about the looming danger that is here in the present. There's a subway sequence that's super dark, but it's when Samira and Eric are chased into this flooded subway. It's using this low, dim lighting, tight camera angles. It creates this very claustrophobic atmosphere. We're underwater, we're above water, we've got inches of air to breathe. It really takes us into this reality. Even on the roof, when the bridge collapses, the camera's shaking, it's handheld, it's giving us these wide shots, these tight shots. It gives us that staircase scene. That staircase scene. And Scola's really using this camera to isolate and create vulnerability that is only further advanced by the editing that Fred Thoraval does, which is really sharp and precise. much footage they had to play with and brilliantly be able to complement the sound design with each cut to be able to let us appreciate the silence and the noise, right? Even in the visual edit, where we're wondering, are they going to step on something? Will they hear the creak of this floor? Will they hear this door open? And even using like thunder to cover it and kick the door open. It's all this beautiful marriage that happens in the edit that really leaves you without much wonder of what's happening around the main narrative. And the edit really provides this essential backstory and the emotional depth that we need, especially the use of the flashbacks and being able to seamlessly integrate them into the narrative for us as well. Another beautiful element about the film was Lupita Nyong'o's character, Samira's yellow cardigan and that orange hat. It really symbolized hope and resilience. These bright colors of her clothing, it stood out against the dark and the desolate background that really symbolized her inner strength and her determination. She was focused on this cat, she was focused on this pizza and the memory of her father, and there was never a moment where we were detached from what she was really about. And Simon Bowles was the production designer on this film, and even Bowles mentioned how each piece of clothing is selected to tell part of the story, down to Frodo the cat, which was an amazing character in this film. I never really cared about a cat so much in a film until this one. The cat finding its way and not only serving as a source of comfort for Samira, but also a source of comfort for us in the audience, because we also had gotten fragile. It started to symbolize this fragile thread of normal life that we're familiar with. And so the use of characters like Frodo and the symbolic use of the wardrobe, it really gives this contrast to the drab, muted environment that we've painted with New York City that really reinforces this theme of hope in the midst of despair. Aside from all of that, I thought that the guy resurrecting out of the ground was random, out of the subway was random. I thought that our nurse from the hospice that left us and found us, it was great, like we appreciated it, but then also, why did he go touch a generator? I can't wait to see the cinema send on this, because you could have just let all the aliens hit the generator and stayed alive, but instead you had to go cut the generator off yourself and then you stab yourself and then they can't, oh man. Spoiler alert. Anyway, it's a great date night film, especially if you're looking for something intense and immersive to go to without the kids. I thought that it was really fun for me and Evan to just be able to sneak away from the kids on a Saturday morning when the theater was nice and quiet with old people and watch A Quiet Place. I particularly enjoyed the marionette and the theaters and the poetry scenes because I like seeing theater and poetry and drama in films. It gives this extra layer that resonates with me as a thespian. And it reminded me of the storytelling in like Station 11, which was a great series on HBO, and also Gilded Age Season 2, which is about the opening of the operas in New York City that really talks about theater, you know? So it was up my alley in that, to that sense. Overall, great iteration to this franchise, strong performances, suspense, fresh perspective on the invasion theme. If you're a fan of these series or you love a good thriller, I highly recommend you give it a watch. This film had a fantastic opening weekend at the box office, grossing $53 million, setting a new franchise record. Of course, it didn't break the box office because Inside Out 2 definitely still stole the show. We'll talk about that really soon. Thanks for tuning in. If you've enjoyed this review, please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and let me know in the comments what you thought of A Quiet Place Day 1, and share your favorite scenes and any other movies that you'd like me to review. Don't forget, follow me on social media at Vincent Powell. Until next time, stay creative and keep watching great films.